now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Thursday show, May 18th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you hear a little pep in my voice here today, it's because the return of the great Braylon freaking Edwards. Bray, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Well, at least somebody thinks I'm great, man. I appreciate that. Good to be back. A lot has happened, I guess, in the world of sports. I see the city of Detroit has been slighted and cheated yet again with another draft. We'll get into that, but doing good, excited to be here. You know what? Started off this morning very nice and smooth. I watched Cool Runnings as I had Max's house, so I'm in a good mood.
Ah, that's fantastic. I love that. Shout out to Max as well. Shout out to you, Maz, Tom Mazawey, back in your familiar chair, which you've never looked better in.
Thank you, guys. I'm very happy the team's back together. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great group here, too. Look at this. You've got JB, the great JB.
This is my favorite here.
JB, say hi over there. Go say hi, everybody. JB wearing the Lions hat, man. That's a big lion, baby. And then, of course, Sam Flannel in the audio booth.
Flannel Slam.
What up?
What up, baby?
What up, Braylon? So happy to have you back, man.
It's good to be back, man.
Yeah.
I guess we can get into it. You guys have already gotten to it.
We're here for you today.
Man.
The city.
This is your day.
This is a repeat show.
Well, good. Well, let me get with the repeat. Like, what is it about the city of Detroit we can't win the lottery?
Always get slighted.
What is it?
Not only not win, lose.
Like, lose royally, as they say. Like, I just don't understand it. And I'm pretty sure you guys went down the list of picks the Detroit Pistons have had since Darko Milicic. Darko Milicic, the last guy besides Cade Cunningham that was picked in the top 3. Man, if you just listen at this number, how is a team, how is a franchise supposed to get better from being a worse franchise, from being at the bottom of the East, from being at the bottom of its side? How can you get better when you don't get drafted or you don't get chosen? Generational talent.
Right.
When you don't get a chance to draft individuals like Victor Wembanyama. Like, when you look at the Pistons since 2023, this year we found out we have 5. Last year we had 5. We had K. And even the year that we got a number 1 pick, it was one of those number 1 picks where you're like, we got one, but I mean, it's K. And I don't want to disrespect K Cunningham. To the people that love him, I love him too. But I'm just being real. K Cunningham next to a Victor Wembanyama, it's a big difference. Cade Cunningham next to a
LeBron James.
Zion Williamson is a big difference. And then you go from that to 7, 15, nothing in 18, 12, 18, 8, 9, 8, 7, 15, 26, none, and then eventually you get to Darko Milicic at 2. And that is the music you need for that. Did you hear that number? There were no 3s. There were no 4s. There weren't a ton of 5s.
That sounds like the Red Wings draft.
Oh, well, you know what? I got that too. Yeah. That's 9, 8, 6, 4, 6, 6, 9, 20, 19, 15, 20, none, and 21.
Sounds about right.
It's the city of Detroit, minus obviously the Tigers.
Speaking of the city of Detroit,
they deserve better.
Can I ask you guys something about Detroit? And this is a conversation that was started on Fox 2 earlier today. And if you are watching on fox2detroit.com, thank you for doing so. And I'd love to get everybody involved in the chat as well. Can you say you are a Detroiter if you are not and never have lived in Detroit?
No, you have to. Okay, so you're saying live around Detroit, it counts?
Well, what I'm saying is I always say I'm a Detroiter.
Right.
I was born in Detroit. Nice hat today.
It's the perfect day for it. It's never not the right day to wear this hat.
I was born in Detroit. But even if I wasn't, even if I was born in Troy.
You're a Detroiter.
Are you a Detroiter? And that's a question that we had today.
I think it's twofold. I think one, if you leave the state and you're talking about the city of Detroit, to the people that don't know where Troy is, to the people that don't know where Birmingham is, to the people that don't know Farmington Hills or Pontiac, Detroit is Detroit. So yes, you speak for Detroit when you leave the state, especially if you want to speak for Detroit. A lot of people leave Detroit and they operate from Birmingham. They operate from West Bloomfield because they don't want to claim the city. So that's one. Two, inside this city, 100%. You've eaten at a Coney Island. You've gone to Detroit venues. You've gone to events. You've been around the city. You've been around restaurants. You've seen your fair share of things, Ryan and Ermanni, from the time you were born till now that make you 1,000% a Detroiter. You are a Detroiter. You don't have to necessarily live in the city of Detroit to be a Detroiter. I won't allow for that.
How about me? I moved here in '93, and my first 9 years, I lived in the city of Detroit. Because what I told my girlfriend then, now my wife, and I had her find me a place. I'm like, whatever you find me, I want to be in Detroit. So she found me a flat in Detroit on Woodhall between East Warren and Mack, right around Cadju.
Yeah.
And I lived in that house for the first 9 years. We got married and lived in that house for the first year.
Hey, you're absolutely a Detroiter.
Can I be a Detroiter
Absolutely.
now? 30 years.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, you are more than just a Detroiter. Right. The fact that you asked to stay here when you moved here for the city of Detroit. So yes, you're a Detroiter. The fact that it was where you said it was, you're definitely a Detroiter. If you get my drift.
Yep, you got some credit in the game.
You got some credit in the game.
Right by Finney.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people.
You deserve more credit than a lot of people.
A lot of people in the chat are an overwhelming no on this question. And not only that, so Fox 2 put out a poll. Do you claim you live in Detroit even when you actually live in the suburbs? So I feel like that's a little bit of a different question. I don't claim I live in Detroit. I just normally say I'm a Detroiter. And I feel like it's a little bit of an attitude. And I feel like it's I support that city. I support everything about Detroit. It's an inclusive mentality. I shop, dine, and spend money every chance I get in that city. But I do not live there. I have never lived in Detroit. You know, I lived in East Detroit. I've lived in St. Clair Shores. I've lived in Grosse Pointe. I've lived in Ann Arbor. You know, but I've never lived in the city proper.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the people in the chat. I have lived in Detroit. I've lived on the west side. I've lived on the east side. I've lived in Rosedale Park. I've lived in Green Acres, which is down the street. I went to King High School. Like, I've been in Detroit. I don't live in Detroit currently, and I haven't lived in Detroit for some time, but I am a Detroiter. I'm born in Detroit, as the hat says, and I represent Detroit to the fullest. I mean, I love the Detroit Lions, not because I played for the Lions, not because I love the Lions. It's because the Lions being good makes the city of Detroit work for me. So the fact that that's a thing is why I now cheer for the Detroit Lions. Ryan, you've been around the city your whole life. You put a lot into the city. You've done a lot of exposés. You've done a lot of stuff on your own, Maz. You've done the same. You claim to live here. At the end of the day, you're native Detroiters.
That's how I feel about it.
I'm a Jersey boy living in Detroit.
Yeah. That's right. Born and raised in South Detroit.
There you go,
look at that.
Hey,
big show for you today, guys. We've got Tony Paul of the Detroit News. He's going to join us in hour number 2 of the program. We'll talk about those Detroit Tigers. 41 games into the season, 3 games under 500. They dropped one yesterday at home, split the series with the Buccs, now on the road against the Washington Nationals, on the road for 6. Braylon, I want to start with a little NBA, though. I mean, what a game last night. Jimmy, playoff Jimmy, as you call him, that is your guy.
We gave you your props yesterday.
Yes, we did. That is your guy.
Thank you.
An 8.5-point underdog in Game 1. And the 8th-seeded Miami Heat go on the road and take Game 1, 123-116 against the Boston Celtics and lead the series. Next game is Friday, 8:30 on TNT.
I said this right before the playoffs, and and I guess you said I appreciate that, and I'll just say it again. Just playoff Jimmy is just very different from regular season Jimmy. I think during the regular season, the East, like he plays tremendous during the regular season. He gets the team to buy in during the regular season. They do amazing during the regular season. But once you get to the playoffs, I think everybody's thinking too much. I think you get the top tier guys or the superstars or the max contract guys, the guys that are supposed to take over the leagues, the Jason Tatum, the Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic is doing just that. But you get those guys, and they get in there and it's too much pressure and they're thinking about too much, and they have bad games and they're worried about so much. Jimmy Butler just comes to play basketball. Like, he comes to play basketball. He trusts himself. He gets under his guys. He's an old school player, which Maz, I know you appreciate. He gets after his guys. And they appreciate it. And they get after
kind of guy.
These guys are getting after it. They play well together. They don't care who has the success. Like, Jimmy Butler, although he's putting up phenomenal games, there have been some games where he's, 22 points, 5 or 6 assists. But here comes Max Strus. Here comes Duncan Robinson. Here comes Kyle Lowry having a rebirth. This team is playing well together, and Jimmy, he deserves all the credit he's getting. And he, in the playoff, he's a different type of animal. And everybody, you start to see Jason Tatum and those guys. They're just like,
how do you score 51 points in one game, and then the next game you come and you score 0 points in the fourth quarter?
That's what I said the other night. He used all his points in one game.
Because
it don't make sense.
I think Jason Tatum's a great player, but to put up an offer in the fourth quarter, pretty at home too. It's tough.
I won't make any excuses for him because definitely you got to be that guy. Everybody's claiming he's the next one. Man, we've been talking about him taking that next step since last year. Last year he let his team down, and he knows it. That's why he went to the off season, and he worked hard to get back here, and here he is. Ryan, and he's doing it again. Part of it, though, you got two alphas on the team. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, and you never know who's going to have the game. You never know who's going to want the last shot. In this past game, neither one of them wanted the last shot. You just never know. And I think Ime Udoka last year would have had a chance to figure that out in the offseason. Don't have it in the offseason. Insert Mazzulla. Now you're going exactly through the same thing that you went through last year. Is trying to put it on Tatum, or put it on Brown, or then Tatum getting mad because you let Brown shoot the last shot. They're acting like kids to a certain extent. And then it's the assistant players. Where's White been? People don't remember how good White was last year in the playoffs. White averaged around 12 points a game in the finals. In the playoffs, averaged about 2 threes. Where's he been? Where's Malcolm Brogdon, who won Sixth Man of the Year? He's in some games. He's out other games. And
He's supposed to put him over the top.
Exactly. And Al Horford has been abysmal. I mean, anytime you're looking at a game where Al Horford, not this past one, but the first one, the last game of the last series, anytime Al Horford's shooting and missing 11 threes, you're not even that type of position. So you put all that together, they're just a dysfunctional team right now.
Let me bring him up. Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Only one of them can get max contract. So he's going to be maybe dealt.
Definitely a guy that I would look at.
Let me just throw it out there. Can he make the Pistons a very good team if they surround him with some more players, obviously? And I'm going to tell you how they could get him, obviously. Pick number 5, one of the 3 rookies, and maybe a future number 1. Maybe not next year, but maybe 2025. So 2 number 1s, 1 this year, and one of the 3 core rookies goes to Boston for Jaylen Brown. Can that happen, and would it help Detroit?
No, it's not going to happen. And if it played out, if we're playing the if game, it would help because Jaylen Brown's a damn good player. And if you put some pieces around him, you can have some success with a Jaylen Brown. The problem is Jaylen Brown's not going to want to come here. The problem is nowadays a pick 5 doesn't do you any good in the NBA draft. The NBA draft has gotten to such a place. Last year, maybe a little bit of an exception. Nowadays, if you're not the 1 through 3, it doesn't even matter that you have a pick in the top 5. And I know the Pistons have 5, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on their parade. But if you don't have Scoot Henderson, if you don't have Brandon Miller, and you don't have the tall guy, a.k.a. Victor Wembanyama, why are you? The draft makes no sense.
You mentioned the Pistons. I want your take on it. When you saw that envelope open and you saw the Pistons get number 5, I want to hear your thoughts on that. By the way,
I did see the Spurs
on the envelope.
I watched it as they were bringing it out. You could definitely see the spur at the bottom of that pile.
Incredible. Also, some Lions talk today. Maybe Jack Campbell at 18 wasn't a reach. And video inside the Tampa Bay Bucks war room, who were picking at 19, they confirm just that. But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
All right, Cousins Maine Lobster. You know the scoop.
It's the best
lobster, the best seafood this side of New England, and it's right here in the city of Detroit. 2 great food trucks with wonderful kitchens rolling around our city, and the only way to get to them is you got to find out where they're at. So you got to download the app, on their website. Just go to that QR code on the side of my head there. Click on it. It'll take you right to their site. Download the app. Find out the schedule. Even order ahead. When you do that and go pick up your meal, you'll get points. The more points you get, the more money you save, and the more delicious lobster you can eat. It's CousinsMaineLobster.com. JB, you didn't cut me off.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros Just to Joe's. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Jump and Puck. Saturdays, 1 p.m. on woodwardsports.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for doing so. If you are not, head over to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button as well. Let's see if we can get to over 50 likes by the end of this segment. That'd be fantastic. All the likes we can pile up helps YouTube push our content out to more people. So we would love that if you could hit that like button for us. Braylon Edwards, you have not had a chance to comment publicly on this show regarding the Pistons getting jobbed. We showed a graphic yesterday, the last 10 worst record teams in the NBA. Nobody picked lower than third. There were 4 1s, 4 2s, and then 2 teams in the last 10 years have finished with the worst record in the NBA, got the 3rd pick, but never 4th and never 5th, at least in the last 10 years. When you saw that envelope flip over and saw Pistons at 5, what was your reaction?
You can tell me what you want to tell me about it being fair. You can tell me that there is no script. Look, it may not be a script as it relates to games. It may not be a script as it relates to this is exactly what's going to happen. But there's damn sure a script to where they're going to send these lottery picks into what cities. You look at a team like the San Antonio Spurs, like we all knew. Like we hoped for Detroit. We hoped that it was going to be Detroit, but we all knew Detroit always gets the you-know-what. So you start looking around, what teams, you're like, San Antonio and Houston were going to be main primetime for. You look at Houston. Houston's a main primetime market for the NBA. Look at all the success that they've had, whether it was Kawhi and Olajuwon, whether it was James Harden for these years, whether it was the 80s and Moses Malone and Ralph Sampson. Houston has always been a big market. You look at the other side. You look at what it was with the Spurs. 1987, it's David Robinson. 1997, it's Tim Duncan. That's 2 generational players you've given these guys. And then all of a sudden, here's Victor Wembanyama to the San Antonio Spurs. And oh, by the way, they are opening a brand new facility, in case you didn't know that. So with that being said, you look at Detroit. I told you guys, they hate Detroit. They hate the city of Detroit. You can say I'm making things up. We can say, oh, that's just that's his take on it. Man, they didn't like Detroit in the 80s because we messed up the smooth transition between Jordan and Bird and Magic and Bird and Michael Jordan, and then the Malice at the Palace. Because if you look at it, the Malice at the Palace is 2006 or 2004, 5, Darko 2002. Ever since then, we haven't had anything that resembled a top 3 pick until they get Cade Cunningham, and you all know my take on Cade Cunningham. It wasn't a Zion Williamson #1. It wasn't. It was Cade or Jalen Green.
I got a question for you because something happened. A report came out today that actually infuriates me and makes me question the direction of this franchise. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So this is per The Athletic. NBA insider Shams Charania. Okay,
one of the best.
One of the best out there. He says that if
we have the video.
Oh, here you go. Here it is.
Detroit and around the teams that slipped out of the top 3, especially being Detroit. I mean, Houston for sure also slipped a little bit as well. But Detroit was top 2, top 3 odds. They slipped all the way to 5. I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened before. But definitely there's heartbreak there when you don't get a chance to draft Victor Wembanyama or even the #2 pick. And there was a lot of chatter this week. I'm here at the Combine. There's a lot of chatter around executives that if the Pistons had gotten #1, they were going to go all in aggressively with all their resources to go hire Monty Williams. Ooh. And at that point, with the #1 pick, that would have been an extremely appealing job for Monty Williams. Alas, they end up with #5. Still a talented roster. I think Troy Weaver's done a good job, but there's heartbreak involved when you go from #1 or #2 to #5.
So let me ask you guys if I'm deciphering this correctly. Because if I'm deciphering it the way I think I'm deciphering it, it kind of makes me a little It pisses me off.
No big guy wants this gig.
No. If the Pistons got the number 1 pick, they would go all in on Monty Williams. Okay, they didn't. Why don't you still go all in on Monty Williams? If that's your guy, if that's the best coach out there on the market, you go get Monty Williams. If you have to overpay. It doesn't cost you against the salary cap. You can pay whatever you want for a guy. Now, if he chooses to say, I want to go to Milwaukee, I want to go to Philadelphia, that's fine. But you make sure that you put your best foot forward and you overpay to get that guy if you've identified
Pay that
him.
man his money.
Thank you. Give the man his money. Overpay him if that's the coach you've identified is the best coach on the free agent market right now. I don't understand what getting the number 1 pick has to do with your plan to hire a coach.
Because I think the sad reality is we're starting to realize you got to have one of those guys to win something. You got to have one of the elite, one of the generational talents, or a couple of those people on the same team so you can win. So Goris and the Pistons are saying, well, we didn't get Victor Wembanyama. We didn't get the number 1 pick. We didn't get Scoot. Hell, we didn't get Brandon Miller. So what sense does it make it to go pay Monty Williams upwards of $9 million, $10 million a year, whatever the status quo is for elite head coaches in the NBA? What sense is it for us to pay that just for another losing season with the Detroit Pistons or another team that he may be able to get to the play-in tournament, but then again, you're not paying him a season to get a team to the play-in tournament that you know is going to struggle once they even get there. I think that's how they're particularly looking at it. And with that being said, it just hurts once again that you don't get Victor Wembanyama, that you don't get a 2, that you don't get a 3. Because look how fast Victor Wembanyama could have changed the trajectory of this franchise. Look what they said. They said if we would have gotten the number 1 pick or 2, whatever, we would have gotten Monty Williams, who's one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. So now you get a generational player in Victor Wembanyama, which is going to bump your ticket sales up. It'll bump your revenue streams up. It'll put people in the seats. Your team is going to be much better with him. Now you get a coach in Monty Williams who knows how to coach this team, who knows how to make them the best version of themselves. Now your team is actually a good team. Now you're going to the playoffs. Now you become a powerhouse. Now you become on the national scene. All that happens in 2-3 years. All that can happen in 2-3 years. But here we are, yet again, with a pick that is beyond 7. And now the Detroit Pistons are looking at another rebuild, and it falls on Cade Cunningham, who I don't think has enough to build this team up.
Hey, if I had my choice of coaches right now, you guys might say I'm crazy, I'd take Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers is a great coach. We're nowhere near winning a championship. I love the way he develops his players, the way that he kept that Philadelphia team together when they dumped all those years, like we have. He's used to dumping teams. And he gets them into playoffs, and he gets them playing hard. I like Doc Rivers. If I had a choice, I'd take Doc over Monty.
I think the big thing, Ryan, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is Maz, we're gonna have to take who wants the job.
Like, but yes, but no. Yes, but no. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and I think I don't know, but I just want to hear that you are overpaying. I want to hear Windhorse on ESPN go out there and say, boy, Detroit made one hell of an offer to Monty Williams, but he chose to go coach Giannis in Milwaukee. I need to hear that as a Pistons fan,
right,
to drag me back in.
You're right, and I understand that. And I don't have anything to that. Like, you're absolutely right. You want same thing we were talking about with the Lions at one point. Like, before the season last year, in the off season, when everybody was coming up, you was like, oh man, at least let me know you were in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Right. At least let me know you were in for this the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. That's what we were at the Lions. So I understand 100%. But if frankly put, we're talking about how bad the Pistons' luck has been with the lottery. We're talking about how bad the Pistons' teams have been in the past decade or so. What coach, even if you give these guys more, and I know for you just want to hear it from that side, but from the coaches, from the Pistons side, if we offer Monty Williams more, what is he going to do with this team and this city? I don't think he takes it, because you're like, at the end of the day, that's a situation that's going to be damn hard to pull somebody out of, especially not with someone that I believe is that generational talent on that team.
Here's what Monty Williams would do, or, look, I'm not a coach evaluator. I'm not a talent evaluator. Right. Just like if you go back to the NFL draft, I was saying Bijan. They evaluated Jahmyr Gibbs better than Bijan. That's what their evaluation was. So I was on the right track.
Right.
I got the player wrong. So let me say this. You can insert the name of the coach however you want, but whoever the coach is, there is talent on this roster. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, those are talented guys. So the idea would be to get the best coach you possibly can, even if you had to overpay, to ensure that those players develop the right way. Because how many times do you see talented players just fizzle out because the development program isn't what you want it to be? Now, I think the reason why I'm freaking out so much. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's absolutely right. But look at that list of coaches that's available right now, and look at the situations that they've gone through. Neither one of these coaches on this list can afford to come to a Detroit, which we know is a bad situation as of right now. It has talent on the roster, but as of right now, it's a bad situation. And what are the chances that you potentially are going to make it good? Look at Doc Rivers. Is Doc Rivers in a position to come off what he did in Philadelphia and now being called a guy that can't seal the deal? Is he in a position to come and fail in Detroit? Is Nick Nurse a guy that most people said he only won at the end of the day? Dwayne Casey could have won that because LeBron wasn't in the East and then the Warriors got hurt. Is he in a situation to come here and fail again? Monty Williams, he's had Chris Paul, he's had Devin Booker, he had Kevin Durant this year with the Phoenix Suns. He's been to the finals twice, was up 2-0, won finals, and he dropped that. So you look at it from this standpoint. All the coaches that are on that list that are available, Budenholzer, who just got let go, he's won a title. Everybody on this list, they're not looking to come to a city like Detroit and struggle again, because now their reputation takes even more of a hit. And to come from Detroit in a bad situation to get back into NBA graces as a coach, that's a tough spot. And that's the catch-22 side of it.
They're not done because they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Troy Weaver's not done. He's going to sign free agents. We're going to get good quality players here. Hey, look, they put all their eggs in one basket to get the number one pick this year. They failed. That doesn't mean they're broke. They're still going to get a great player, a very good player at 5. That could turn out to be a phenomenal player, Ryan, because we went over the players that they skipped over in the last 12, 13 years that were on this team. Just say Tyrese Halliburton instead of Killian Hayes. Just that alone would make the team better. So they still have a chance to get better and develop a team like they did in 2002, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Only problem with that, Maz, the same guy that overlooked Tyrese Halliburton is the same guy that overlooked him for Killian Hayes.
I got you.
That's the only problem.
But that was his first one. I'm going to give him a redo.
Okay.
But just to put a pin in this as well, nobody's saying the Pistons have no talent.
No, not at all.
But their 3 best players are 21, 21, and 19.
Don't forget our center we got from Golden State.
You're 4 or 5 years away. You're 4 or 5 years away. We're already sitting on a 10-year period of just real bad basketball, unwatchable basketball. I mean, to go 4 or 5 years and waiting for this group to develop into becoming veterans in this league, that's a long time. Victor could have sped up that process by 2 years.
Yeah, and that's when it goes to the fact. We talk about Killian Hayes, talk about looked over that, but at the end of the day, that's still pick 7. That's still pick 6. That still was down here. It goes back to the original question, which is the lottery situation over the last couple of years. It's hard to keep building from 5 and 6 and 7. It's hard to keep trying to guess right which is the right pick at 7, which is the right pick at 8. Wouldn't you like to have a couple drafts where you're like, okay, sure, we're taking Zion. If not, we'll take John Morant. All right, cool. We'll take Jason Tatum, who's sitting at 3, 4. So it just hasn't been those drafts for the Detroit Pistons, and they're not getting any better because of it. We were all excited at one point. What if the things that you could do with a Victor Wembanyama? Hell, I believe Brandon Miller fits the Pistons offense better than Victor Wembanyama. So I was even elated with that. But to now sit here at 5 again and talk about how Troy Weaver can pull another rabbit out of his head. It's unfair to him.
He makes a lot of trades. Maybe they trade up to 3.
We'll see.
You don't know. It's not done yet.
Guys, I want to get into a little football. We saw inside the Tampa War Room on draft night, and maybe the Lions did not overdraft Jack Campbell. We'll show you that. But first, a message from Les Stanford. Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford, Buick, GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac. Les Stanford in Dearborn, standing strong for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Subscribe to Woodward Sports. Hit that like button for us. Let's get to over 100 likes by the end of this segment. How about that? 100 likes by the end of this segment. Want to shout out JB over there, Jeremy Bryant, in the TD booth, calling the shots.
TD.
Of course, Sam Flannel in the audio booth. We'll get him mixed in the show in a little bit. He was on Morning Woodward today. He's probably exhausted from dealing. Well, I guess you were in for Baydoun, but it's still exhausting even just sitting in Baydoun's seat.
Yeah. I mean, you do double duty every day too, so you understand. I'm not gonna get any sympathy from you, but it's okay. I'm all good.
I
Still
was texting the chat at 5:30 in the morning.
I saw that too. He's like, okay, I'm about to go back. What?
Very good.
We'll get Sam going. Don't you talk about LeBron here?
You're right. Hey guys, I got this. I've got this 2-minute video I want to show you from inside the Tampa Bay Bucks war room. But before I do that, let me just finish up this NBA topic really quick. Did you see YouTube TV did not show the final 9 minutes of the Eastern Conference final game last night? And we talk about it all the time, what a disaster the streaming was. Lachlan Murdoch at Fox called Amazon Prime Thursday Night Video a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
And now YouTube TV,
all
streaming
is a disaster when it comes to
sports, live events, and you see the top 100 most watched shows in the United States in 2022.
All football.
What is it? 80 of them, 90 of them football games?
Yep.
Crazy. What's? I mean, how do you do this?
I don't know. They got to figure out something. But the interesting thing is, man, for me, I don't ever have problems like when it's during the season. But I guess I'm watching. What is it, Prime? Like I never had a problem with Prime. Like during the year.
When you put on the Thursday night game.
Yeah, Thursday. I never.
Know, but it's what we tried to talk about yesterday because Peacock is going to get a playoff game.
Right, they will.
So we were talking about it. They are next year. They're getting the wild card game. So we talked about once you're on a streaming service.
clicking out of it.
You can't get out like to go. You don't want to watch the commercial, so you want to change the channel, see who's winning that game. Go over here. Maybe you see a movie that's on for a few minutes. Whatever. Once you click out of that, then it takes you like 5 minutes to get back into it.
So now I will say this. This is unacceptable. Like them not having a game for the last 9 minutes, YouTube, that's unacceptable. That's something that they're going to fix. They have a lot of money. I'm pretty sure they'll get that fixed.
Well, they better before the NFL starts.
Oh, 100%. You think they're going to waste? You think they're going to blow that one? They're not going to mess that up. But with that being said, it's a little easier to navigate through, I think, than people make it. It's annoying, and it is a bit of an inconvenience. But once you got the home button, you hit the home button, you scroll over to the last couple apps you've been on. Like, it's not as hard. It doesn't take as long. But it is an inconvenience. And when you have things like this, Ryan and Matt, it's an inconvenience you don't have to deal with.
If you're let's say the last 20 seconds of a basketball game, and it goes and something happens to your streaming service, you got to get out, reboot it, and go back in. Game's over. Now on a TV and cable, you just get out and put the channel back in.
It wouldn't happen in cable.
It just doesn't. I know your cable goes out once in a while, big deal, but that's once in a blue moon. This is gonna happen. You get the, what do they call it when the streaming? Buffering, all of that kind of stuff. I don't want to see a live football game or live basketball game have to go through this. This reminds me of back in the 60s when the Jets and the Raiders played. They put the Heidi movie on during the Jets-Raiders game on NBC. They blew out the telephone lines.
Let me ask you this question. I understand exactly to what you say, Maz. You're 100% right. You don't want to have to deal with one thing when another thing already works the right way. It's already working the best way that it can. But isn't this just a part of the natural law of evolution? Like, isn't just next man up? Because I'm pretty sure when we went to satellite TV, it was problems. It was a hassle. It was a pause. It was a stop. It was, the game better not be a rainy game, because if it's raining and lightning, it's going to mess it up.
That's very true.
So,
that's why I never got satellite.
That's why I never got DirecTV. Anytime it rained, it'd go out.
But Comcast, at some point, you had Comcast. At some point,
I still do.
Exactly. I'm saying.
I love my Comcast. I'll never get rid of Comcast.
I pay out my ass for that.
I know it. I'll never get rid of it. It's my entertainment.
But DirecTV has owned football for the better part of the last 15, 16, 18 years with that, and they've always had it. I just feel like it will evolve. All this technology and all this, they'll get it better. They have to, right?
Yeah, it will. They will.
They have to.
They will.
You just being old Maz right now?
It's not even
being
that,
old
man.
You just
Maz,
being old
I love it.
I just don't want to sit through it. If I want to pause something, go get something to eat and come back. By the time you unpause it, it doesn't work. It starts buffering and stuff.
I will say this, Maz, and to a certain that was funny as hell. I will say
I missed that. What was
to
it?
your credit, it was the noise the HTTP makes when it's a rap. But also that was funny. But also with that, the one thing that I do not like, I will side here. The one thing I do not like, because I watch ESPN on. I have DirecTV, but I usually watch everything on the Fire Stick. I watch Fox, I watch ESPN, I watch all those. But man, when they show one commercial, maybe one insight of something they're gonna do next, and then it just has a blank screen. It just has it said, "Be right back."
Oh yeah.
Now that drives me crazy.
I'm out.
Now I'm not gonna lie. That "be right back" or "be back in a few minutes," and it keeps going in.
That happens when I watch the MLB package.
I wish it would do that. That's the one thing I absolutely agree. I need a commercial flow back into the broadcast. I don't need like two commercials.
That is so funny.
And then, all right, we'll see you in 3 minutes. Wait, nobody's gonna talk to me for 3 minutes?
That is so
what
funny.
I understand, YouTube TV has almost doubled in price as well. And now this happens. So I know everyone wants to cut the cord and use all these streaming services. Enjoy.
You pay as much. Now with the streaming.
More.
Hey Bray, tonight game 2, Nuggets and Lakers. Do the Lakers have any shot in this series?
Well, they got LeBron, so they have a shot, and I would have to give him his credit. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. You can argue that he's 2. You can argue that he's 1. He's one of the greatest players to ever play. So yes, as long as LeBron James is playing, they got a shot. And as long as AD can possibly show some of what he showed against the Sacramento Kings, they got a shot. But it's a damn outside shot.
I'll tell you this.
It is an outside shot. That man, Joker, and I know you guys have given him all his praise. I know he's been giving him his praise. Nikola Jokic is on a mission. He is unstoppable. When you see him hit that buzzer beater, and you see AD, the person that's supposed to be checking him, Which AD did a better job in the second half. I got to give him that credit. But you see a guy like that's supposed to be on your level, a guy that's supposed to be checking you, a guy that's supposed to be making it hard for you. When he just turns around and laughs like that in the conference finals, this ain't the All-Star game. This ain't the regular season. This is the conference finals. And AD turned around and smiled like, what the F do I do with that? Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA, and it's not even up for debate.
I believe tonight's game they will have no legs, the Lakers.
Yeah,
that's because they put all their energy into that fourth quarter comeback. They came up short, and I believe Denver will run them out tonight. 5.5 is the spread. I say give.
And the NBA didn't give LeBron any favors, do him any favors by not playing 5 days after Game 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get flannel started.
Usually Game 2 would be on Sunday.
The one thing people don't look at and give credit, obviously, is the bench, and it's the other guys for the Denver Nuggets. They're the number 1 seed in the.
What a team, man!
They're the number 1 seed for a reason. They play well together. It's Bruce Brown. It's Michael Porter Jr. It's Aaron Gordon. They all know when it's their time. KCP is playing better than he did with the Lakers.
Wow!
Like, you know what's one of those things where now you're watching KCP and you're wondering why the Lakers let him go.
How about the Pistons? Why they let him go?
Well, I understood why they let him go. He wasn't at this level then, but man, ever since then, they play well. The other thing is, everybody talks about Nikola Jokic, big and slow and frumpy and gumpy and all these kind of things. You know the one thing that you don't talk about? His conditioning. That's been something that I have never paid attention. I've never paid his conditioning attention. He is up and down the court faster than damn near everybody on the Lakers. He's damn sure up the court faster than the bigs, which allows him to be in the best spot, or it allows him to dictate which spot he wants to be in transition. Nikola Jokic is going to make it damn hard for those Lakers, but they still got LeBron.
What do you think? LeBron going to get run out of the gym tonight?
No, I don't think they're going to get run out of the gym. The other thing that isn't being mentioned are the Nuggets hit an absurd amount of three-pointers. I think that, was it Michael Porter Jr. hit 50%, Jamal Murray 50%, and Nikola Jokic 100%. So they were a little outer space from three.
Very true, but you got to watch the playoffs. They've been doing that often. Now, they haven't been shot like that, Sam, but they've been shooting well all playoffs.
I'll see your three-point shooting, and I'll raise it with Anthony Davis scoring 40. He scored 40, and they couldn't get it done, so... all right, guys, we'll show you the video inside the war room for the Tampa Bay Bucks and talk about those Lions. We'll do it next, but first a message from Planet Fitness.
Absolutely. Planet Fitness is thrilled to allow high schoolers ages 14 through 19 in the United States and Canada to work out for free all summer long from May 15th through August 31st. Teens can register beginning May 1st and officially gain access to the club on May 15th, with registration open during the summer months through August 31st. Plus, we're giving away $200,000 to high schools and students. Teens ages 14 through 19 who register for high school summer pass can help win a scholarship for their school and participate in a TikTok video contest for a chance to win academic scholarships. And for all the rest of us, membership starts at only $10 a month.
Only $10?
Only $10. Or you can upgrade to the Black Card for $24.99 to get all kinds of amenities.
That's what I need right there.
Absolutely. Join in club today or online or Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
How would you like to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. We talked for a long time about the fact that the Lions took Jack Campbell at 18 and whether or not That was an overreach.
That's a reach.
That's a reach. Second round pick, maybe even third round pick. Maybe not. It appears that Tampa was in the market or in the...
he was on their board.
He was on their board.
And Elijah Campbell was on their board.
Elijah Cansey.
Cansey, him too.
On their board, and they potentially were going to draft Jack Campbell at 19. Here's the video from the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Are we worried about Detroit? How many picks do they have? If they did a third and a fourth.
New England has submitted its pick. Detroit is now on the clock.
Oh boy, we're worried about Cansey here. Nice. All right. You all won.
We still had two guys that we really liked on the board, with Cansey being one of them. And, you know, when we had a shot either way Detroit picked, and when Detroit picked the other way and picked the linebacker and we got a chance to get Cansey, you know, it was pretty good. It was a great feeling, actually.
I'll wait till we're on the clock. Full circle, what do you mean?
He did this when we first got to the state semifinals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He made a killing then, too.
Tampa Bay is now on the clock.
When we got to the point where we're going to sit and wait, and we have three players that we like in this order, they started going, getting selected. Now, Kalijah was at the top of that list, but we were just, you know, there's that chance that he's gone. And when the pick in front of us went, it wasn't Kalijah. That's where I was starting to sweat a little bit. Is this Kalijah?
Yes.
Kalijah, hey, this is Jason Knight. I'm the GM in Tampa. I met you in Indy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, sir.
Well, we've been sweating this one out. How do you feel about being a Buck?
Man, I feel awesome. I'm ready.
All right. Well, we feel awesome, too. I'm going to turn you over to Coach Bowles, and we can't wait to see you, and we are pumped here.
Cans, how you doing, man? How you doing, sir? Congrats. Thank you, sir. Congrats. I haven't seen you play since high school, and you beat Jesuit in the state semis. Yes, sir. Glad to have you aboard, man. Can't wait for you to get here.
With the 19th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Elijah Cansey, defensive end, Pittsburgh.
So there you go, Jason Light, general manager of the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Todd Bowles, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks. And Maz, as you mentioned during the segment there, Elijah Cansey was a player that a lot of Lions fans, I think, would have been over the moon to get. But you know, Jack Campbell was the selection, and by sheer look, we see the evidence.
Yeah.
They're talking about Jack Campbell at 19. So does it make you feel a little bit better? Well, I think we all feel better now that they got the player, right? That I think we all feel a little bit better. But does it even give you a little bit better feeling knowing that, yeah, Brad Holmes wasn't too far off there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is when you look at the draft, the reason why people were so mad and so shocked or so disappointed is because when you looked at a Elijah Cansey, for instance, there was potential talks at one point of, what if you take Elijah Cansey 6? So you know what that does? When you do say, well, shoot, if he's around at 18 and you get Elijah Cansey, so then Elijah Cansey became a very attractive and very a sexy pick for the Detroit Lions, and especially the fans. Like, man, if we can get Cansey at 18, because you thought you were going to get him at 6, or you thought that was a reach, but 18 wouldn't. It's the same with Jack Campbell. We thought Jack Campbell at 48. Jack Campbell was a prospect that was talked about in the 40s, that was talked about in the 30s. So you're thinking like, he'll be there at 40. He'll be there at 30, not 18. There's no need to get him. So at the end of the day, it goes back to this. The guys that scouted the draft, and that was Brad Holmes, his crew, the scouting department, and the Detroit Lions. They wanted Jack Campbell. They got Jack Campbell. Just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've been scouting him. I mean, you look at their roster right now. Tristan Wirfs, where's he from? He's from Iowa. You look at their the rookie that they got this year, I want to say Kayvon Merriweather. There's a rookie this year. Where's he from? Iowa. So you know that Todd Bowles, you know that the Buccaneers organization, they like Iowa players. And Jack Campbell is another one of those Iowa players that has had nothing but a tremendous career. His 3 years playing for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and now he's a Detroit Lion. That's who Brad Holmes wants. So, you know, everybody else should be excited. But with picks like this, with the head scratchers, man, you got small leeway for the head scratcher. It's like if you go to Kalijah Cansey at 18 and he doesn't work out, city's not mad at you. But Jack Campbell, the head scratcher, it's got to work out. Jameer Gibbs, if you take Bijan Robinson at 12, the city's not mad at you. Jameer Gibbs, it's got to work out.
I believe that they thought, and I believed them, that they needed a linebacker more than they needed an defensive defensive lineman, a guy that's going to float around. Then they get Broderick, what's his last name? Broderick Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid is supposed to be, he was terrific. They might have called it a reach at number 3, but the kid is raw, and he's got the talent that could become Cansey. He's bigger than Cansey. Cansey's an undersized guy. Yeah, his tape looks great. He looks like Aaron Donald in his tape, but we'll see how it works out. Again, here you go, man. You're not going to be able to mention Jack Campbell without Kalijah Cansey's name attached to him going forward. We'll see how they both do in their career.
Hopefully it's both great. I hope it's both great.
Look, and yesterday, Bray, we played audio of Louis Riddick, who was on Rich Eisen's NFL Network show.
Detroit Lions, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he was gushing about the Detroit Lions, what they did in the draft, gushing about Jameer Gibbs, and he said now he understands there were teams in the NFL that had Jameer Gibbs rated higher than Bijan Robinson, and obviously it looks now like Detroit was one of those teams because they had a chance to draft Bijan Robinson, and they made the trade ultimately and got their guy Jameer Gibbs.
People that always start a new path, Ryan, Ermanni, and Maz, people that always try something different, people that always see an angle before other people see it. What are those people usually called? Crazy, excuse me. They call them crazy. Oh, this person doesn't know what he's talking about. They're very dismissive. Whether it was Nikola Tesla talking about what he was going to do. You're not going to have to plug anything up. Like, whoever it was, this person is crazy until you start to see it work. And now what happens once it works, man? This person's already 20, 25, 40 years ahead of you. Yep. Now, I'm not trying to compare necessarily Brad Holmes to Nikola Tesla, but what I'm trying to say is he saw what he saw. He operated on what he saw. And now all of a sudden, people are coming out and saying, I see what he saw. I see how he's going to operate. It does look like it was a successful draft. That's why you got to trust yourself beyond all others. And Brad Holmes does that.
Not only trust themselves, but they trusted their own grading system. So I don't know if you guys saw this. This was, according to a report from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, the Lions had 14 players with first-round grades. 4 of those players ended up getting drafted by the Detroit Lions. Let me just go back to that first number, 14.
We kept saying it, 15.
Yes.
That's the number.
Remember that, Braylon?
Yeah, I do.
How many times we did the story.
You bought that number in from a certain
that's right.
mock draft guy.
We did the story that said they talked. It was a McShay thing, I think. It was a McShay who said there are an NFL general manager told him that if there are 15 first-round grades of prospects in any particular draft, that's a crappy draft. Yeah. There were less than 15 first-round grades in this draft.
And there it is, 14.
And here it is, 14. So was that general manager who gave McShay that info? Was that Brad Holmes? You know, I mean, think about that, was it?
Yeah.
So there were 14 first-round grades by Brad Holmes. That's who he and his staff came up with. Those players, Jameer Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta. The fourth guy, Brian Branch, had a first-round grade.
Yep.
And they got 4 of the 14 first-round graded players.
Wow!
And then when you look at their film, when you look at Brian Branch, when you look at Sean Laporta, when you look at Jack Campbell, and then when you look at Jameer Gibbs, nothing about their film tells you otherwise. Nothing about their film tells you that this guy should have been a first rounder, or this guy doesn't have first round, at least talent or at least potential. Nothing about their film. You can't honestly say that. Now, once again, you still have to be right. But with that, the draft wasn't necessarily one of those type of drafts where every pick from 1 to 32, you're like, oh yeah, this one, oh yeah, this one, oh yeah, this one. There were some players you had to figure out. There were some needs you had to assess. What are my needs versus what's the top available player? And I think Detroit, after taking a step back, once again, I am one of those people too. I don't want you guys to think that I saw this a year in advance, because I didn't. But I had to take a step back, and you realize they got the guys that they wanted. They got them at the positions they wanted, man, pause. And then they're all first-round grades, and by most people's standard, by most people's metrics, including their own, they had one of, if not the best draft on record.
That makes me even. I'm so happy. I can't explain how happy I just.
It's competence.
It really is.
Competence makes you okay to be a fan. It makes you know that, you know what, my faith in this team is placed in the right people because I know they're doing what they're supposed to do to make this team a better team for the city. It's competence. Competence is sexy.
During the draft, I was getting texts from my folks in Jersey. My sister Jen follows the draft. My cousin Andrew, a bunch of friends. They were like, when the Lions picked Jahmyr Gibbs, all 4 of them wrote me and said, what are they doing? LOL. What the hell are they doing? And when they got Jack Campbell, I was getting rolling, LOL, rolling on the floor emojis, whatever the hell you want to call them. I mean, and I was like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I was sticking up for them. But I was like, this is what everyone's thinking. What are the Lions doing? And now you read this. Albert Breer saying they get 4 out of their top 14 picks.
And that's
pretty
something.
damn good.
When it comes to the draft, and this is no disrespect to the fans out there, because when it comes to the draft, we're fans too. Hell, we got to listen to all the mock drafts and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fans only boo for 2 reasons. They boo because, one, they don't know the player, right? Which means they weren't a popular player.
That's right.
Which means fans want you to draft the popular player. Or 2, they boo if you draft a guy that some mock draft guy or some Mel Kiper said you shouldn't draft, or that guy wasn't the person for your team, which basically means they're waiting for someone to tell them who to want. Yeah. And Brad Holmes just told you who to want. It's Sean Laporta, it's Jack Campbell, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, it's Brian Branch.
I'm already reading the Piston fans.
Oh, Lord.
And they're all getting excited now. They're all like, oh, we're on this guy, the guy from Villanova. Oh, this guy from Houston. More tape I watch on him. He's this, he's that.
The more tape.
Whatever. It's just so exciting. We're really going to get a great player. So you know what? Whatever you tell us, we're going to wind up believing. Unless you're an absolute NBA junkie scout that actually knows all these players. We don't know what the hell's going on. We don't. I'm going to root for whoever Mel Kiper tells me he's great. Then I believe him.
That's why he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
He's done his homework. But at the end of the day, the majority of the time, he's right.
We're all the same.
He's earned that privilege.
Hey, guys, top of the hour coming up next. We'll talk to Tony Paul in about 30 minutes, talk to him about the Detroit Tigers and where this season is going, and we'll talk to him about some Michigan State football as well. But coming up next, I want to break out a new game. Okay. It's called 50-50. And I'll
50-50.
50-50. And I'm the host, and I'll explain it next.
Don't play those games in South America.
That's right. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Don't I look good today? My girl Becca tightened me up here a little bit, lined me up. My girl Becca. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, your best friend, your kid, your parents, whoever you want to give it to. That's on you. All you have to do is get your hair cut at Lady Jane's. Several locations around the country, several more around the area here in Metro Detroit. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hour number 2 of the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz program here on Woodward Sports Network. Braylon, great stuff, man. Great stuff having you back here. That was a hell of an hour, man.
What's happening?
I cannot even believe hour number 1 is in the book.
What did I miss?
It was so smooth.
You got
man.
something happen this weekend?
Oh, my sister, man, she finally got proposed to. My camera, man, that's what we're doing on Friday. JB's got the video, I think.
No kidding.
So it's got music. Jay made the video, so I can't. Dang, she looks just like my mom. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, man, they tied the knots. A little rain to be happy. That is the rain over to the. What is rain? Oh, my mom's over rain. Got the ring. That was at Mother's Day. How was Mother's Day, by the way, too?
That's great. Congratulations,
so, yeah, man,
Bray. That's awesome.
Congratulations. She's been through her. She's been through a lot. Now here she is. So I'm excited for her, baby sis. First time I met her. I remember that till now. So blessings.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Mother's Day was great, Bray. Mother's Day was great.
I agree, man.
Oh,
everybody's good,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, everybody's
Family's
good. You?
I can't complain, man.
This is your sister's first Mother's Day.
It was, and then she gets engaged.
That's pretty special. And then Mama Melissa played her.
She was living the dream, as they say. It was good though to be on the hills of, I guess, how the week started, if you will, to have that come in at the end. So it was good.
Very good.
Boy.
All right, I want to play a little game with you.
Hold on before you play.
Okay.
Hold on before you play.
I watched Air.
This
I
is
wanted to
how
tell
did
Braylon.
you?
I wanted to tell Braylon. I think I told you the other day. I watched Air.
Okay, I still have not watched it.
It's on Prime, I think.
It's on Prime. It was a flat movie. It's flat.
It looks flat.
Yeah. It's flat. There's really no excitement to it. I watched it. It's just under 2 hours. Matt Damon did a nice job as Sonny Vaccaro. Yeah. And Matt, the guy that directed it was Ben Affleck. He was Phil Knight, walking around barefoot the whole time at Nike headquarters. I think Viola Davis was Michael Jordan's mom.
That was the one.
She was terrific.
That was the one request Michael Jordan had. He said, if you do this movie, I'll okay it. Viola Davis has to play my mom.
She was terrific. Yeah. His dad, the guy that played him, was really good. His dad was you fell in love with his dad. I mean, so sad what happened to James Jordan.
Jeffrey.
But it was a good Jeff Jordan. Excuse me. I thought it was James.
No, it is. Yeah. I was thinking Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Anyway, I thought it was just a flat movie. I do love the 30 for 30 on the story, which is called Soul Man, S-O-L-E, Soul Man. Check it out on 30 for 30.
You know what I think for me is my mom ruined it. And we were talking about it, and she was like, I don't want to go see it. I mean, I know the story. It just looks...
It's still up here at Birmingham
She said it looks flat. Like she said, maybe she didn't say fat, maybe she said boring. Yeah. But once she said that, I kind of was like, and we watched the commercials. You never really saw Chris Tucker. I was like, doesn't really look, didn't have anything to it. So you saying that, I'm glad I didn't go pay for it.
Yeah, watch it on Prime.
I got Prime, so that's still paying for it.
Hey guys, I want to play a little game with you, okay? Yesterday we played boring, not boring appointment TV. Which teams are boring, not boring in appointment TV? Today what I'd like to do is go through the NFL, and we're going to start in the AFC. We're going to play a little game called 50-50. Not the ticket that you buy at the high school games or
it's a lot of those raffle tickets.
Yeah, no raffle tickets. What we're going to do here is I'm going to give you a team. We'll start with in the AFC, and you tell me whether they have a better than 50% shot to make the playoffs or a lower than 50% shot to make the playoffs.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Here we go. Braylon, I'm going to start with you.
I'm ready.
All right. And then we'll go to Mass. Buffalo Bills.
Better than 50.
Okay. Better than 50. Tom Mazawey.
Obviously.
Better than 50. The Miami Dolphins.
Better than 50.
Better than 50.
Me too.
Matt, okay. By the way, I was a yes on Buffalo and Miami. Both teams, to me, also have a better than 50% shot to make the playoffs.
It's going to be the toughest division.
Tough division, though.
It's going to be the toughest division.
The New England Patriots. Better than 50, lower than 50. Lower than 50.
Yeah.
Lower than 50. I, too, go lower than 50. The New York Football Jets, your former team, Braylon, better than 50% chance or lower than 50% chance?
Better.
Better.
Yes.
Maz?
Way better.
Yep, and I, too, have better. So far in the AFC East, we have Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets. 3 teams with a better than 50% shot to make the playoffs. Only the New England Patriots lower.
The last time we did this, we screwed up the whole AFC West.
Let's go to the AFC North.
True.
Braylon Edwards, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Better.
Better than 50% shot.
Super Bowl.
Better than 50% shot. What about the Baltimore Ravens? Better or worse than 50?
Better.
Maz?
Less.
Lower than 50. Lower than 50. I'm going to go better than 50. Pittsburgh. Lower for you. Maz? Lower for you. And then Cleveland, final team in the AFC North. Lower?
I'm going higher.
Higher? Better than 50% chance
I think
to make the
Cleveland
playoffs.
will beat out Baltimore.
Wow.
I'm betting on Deshaun Watson.
And to what Maz is saying by that, I actually don't mind it because I'm along the same lines. I got Baltimore beating out Cleveland, so I agree with Maz 100%.
Okay.
I just took Baltimore instead.
All right, I have Baltimore better, Cleveland lower.
Okay.
Cleveland lower. Okay, here we go to the AFC South.
We got to balance out the AFC East.
Yeah, last night I watched the 1986 AFC Championship in its entirety. The Cleveland Browns. I had to go with the Cleveland Browns.
And Denver, right?
Yeah, Denver, the drive, 98 yards.
On the NFL Network, I'm sure.
Pardon?
On the NFL
Network. And it was great. The quality of the it was beautiful.
Wow.
He's trying to convince you. Start watching these games.
I got to hear Dick Enberg again. Come on.
And who is the Merlin Olsen?
And Bob Greasy.
Shoot, with all this AI technology coming, you can hear him whenever you want to.
You hear Merlin Olsen?
Cleveland, that stadium was rocking, man.
Oh, man.
Was it Municipal Stadium?
Municipal Stadium.
All right, AFC South. You ready?
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Better.
All 3 around. Tennessee.
Lower.
Yeah.
Low
for me. Indianapolis.
Lower.
Lowest
for me. Houston, even lower than the lowest?
I wouldn't say they're the lower, but they're definitely not lower than Indianapolis for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got Jacksonville.
I wouldn't be surprised if Houston they almost made it to the playoffs at the end. Yeah.
It's still low.
All right, so the AFC South, we have Jacksonville and then everybody else. In the AFC West, here we go. You ready, team? The Kansas City Chiefs. Better than 50 or lower than 50? Better than 50. Better than 50. Better than 50. The LA Chargers. Braylon Edwards.
Yo, I'm actually, even though they picked up Quentin Johnson, I'm actually going to say.
I, too, am going to say lower because it's not like they got a new coach. Their coach is still the coach. I'm going lower on this one, too, Maz. Lower than 50%.
And
they're going to make the playoffs.
I've always been connected to a certain person becoming the head coach at the Los Angeles Chargers, Ben Johnson.
We don't want him to
Ben Johnson, when what's his name wasn't getting fired.
Brandon Staley
wasn't getting fired. Remember, he said, "No, I'm taking my hat out the race. I'm coming back to Detroit." I'm telling you, that job is Ben Johnson's job. If the Lions do what they're supposed to do, because Brandon Staley is going to do what he does.
Las Vegas Raiders. Lower.
Josh McDaniel, come on.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
The Denver Broncos.
Ooh.
Better than 50% or lower than 50%?
You know what's tough about this one? Because I almost feel like if I go better for them, then I got to take the Dolphins out of it. It's like these are the teams.
Well, how many teams make it? 7?
Yes.
How many teams do I and Braylon and you have?
Well, technically that doesn't matter because we just said they got better than 50%.
It kind of does, though, because that's kind of, with that in mind, that's where I was going to go next.
Right. Exactly.
Actually, so wait, just first of all, Denver, better or lower than 50?
You put the heat on now.
Yes.
You put the heat. But I was operating that way anyway. I would go better.
Okay.
Me too.
I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you both did that. Okay.
I think we're close on this.
So hold on one second.
We might have run out.
I think we got 7.
Okay.
No, we do have
7. So here's
7.
the problem. So I have 7 teams in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
Buffalo, Miami, the Jets.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Baltimore. Jacksonville, and Kansas City. Braylon, you have 8 yeses. So I'm going to give you 8 teams.
Am I done with teams?
You're done with the teams.
You got to take one out.
You got to take Denver, Baltimore, or the Jets out. Or you've got to take Miami, the Jets, Baltimore, or Denver out. Denver?
I'll take Denver out.
Okay, Denver is out.
I'm taking Denver out.
Denver is out.
Miami's team, like, they keep adding pieces. I ain't taking Miami out.
Okay, Maz, you have 9 yeses. Okay, you have 9
Hey, I
yeses.
want a play-in game.
Not 9 teams. So, oh, boy. What do you want to do with Buffalo, Miami, Jets?
All in.
All in. That's 3. What do you want to do with Cincinnati, Cleveland?
Take Cleveland out.
Cleveland is out. So I need one team here. One team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can keep 2 of the 3. Are you ready?
Yeah.
2 of the 3.
He's gonna say, oh.
Kansas City, the Chargers, or Denver. You get to keep 2 of the 3.
You know what you should do?
Take the Chargers out.
There you go.
Chargers out.
There you go.
All right. That is great. You guys want to do the NFC next?
Yes.
All right. We'll do the NFC next. We will do that.
You're a great host.
But first, a message from Big Boy.
Oh, yeah. Don't take anything out of Big Boy except the dessert, of course. Try the classic breakfast items because Strawberry Fest is back. That's right, the strawberry hot cakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. And if you're not feeling breakfast, why don't you try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap? Cool off with their great salad. It's the summer splash salad. And I told you about dessert. Get that berry delicious strawberry pie, the deep fried vanilla Oreo, or the strawberry hot fudge cake. All at your local Big Boy.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, having a little fun here on woodwardsports.com. Playing a little game called 50-50. And I'd love to get to over 150 likes while we're there. How about that? Can I get to 150? Can I see a 150?
Got a 50-50 shot.
Got a 50-50 shot at 150. Hit that like button. Smash that like button for us here on Woodward Sports Network. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Check out the socials later today and all day, really. So we're playing a little game called 50-50 if you're just tuning in. We did the AFC. Now we'll do the NFC. Do these teams have a better than 50% chance of making the playoffs or a lower than 50% chance to make the playoffs? So, Braylon Edwards, here we go. We'll start in the NFC East.
How did I know?
Okay, in the NFC East, Braylon Edwards, Philadelphia.
Yes.
Maz.
Of course.
Dallas, better or worse than 50%?
Better.
Better. Tom Mazawey is also a better. And the New York Football Giants, where do you land on the New York lower than 50% chance? Tom Mazawey is a thumbs down.
I can't get everybody in the
Tom Mazawey
playoffs.
is a thumbs down on the Giants.
It hurts.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what about those Washington football team people?
Who's their quarterback? Sam Howell?
Sam Howell.
I like it. They're lower than 50%.
Lower than 50%.
Okay, Sam.
chance.
Way to trust Sam Howell.
Hey, Tom Mazawey, where are you with the Washington football team?
If their new owner changes their name to the Red Wolves, it'll be over. But if they're still the Commanders, it's going to be under.
I will say this. The NFC East has the best defensive lineman players in the NFL. It's not even up for debate. When you look at defensive lines of the Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and oh, by the way, the Commanders, let them mess around and get some funky quarterback play. I can see them being like they were last year, a team that can be a nuisance. A team that can be a nuisance and sneak in. That defensive line is damn good, and then they got some talent on the opposite side.
You know I only call Washington football team, right? I don't call them Commanders.
I actually miss you called them Washington
football team. Football team. All right, we'll save the NFC North for last. How about that?
Okay.
That's good. Let's go to the South.
There we go.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What did they win the division last year at 8-9?
8-9.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, better or lower than 50% chance?
Lower than 0%, if that's possible.
Ooh, man.
Lower than 0%.
Low. Yes. What about those Carolina Panthers, Braylon Edwards?
You know,
Carolina.
I'm gonna go better.
Better than 50%.
I'm gonna go better.
Whoa, Braylon Edwards.
I'm gonna go better.
Wow,
I'm going better.
What about Tom Mazawey?
You ever play Baccarat?
No.
You either bet the player or the host. Player or the bank.
He wants to bet.
And then you can bet the tie.
Yeah.
I'm betting 50% right on the button.
Can't bet the tie. It's not how the game works. There's no green here.
Roulette.
It's black or red.
I'm going to say
There's
under.
no green.
Under
for Carolina. All right, what about the
you didn't go.
Under? I didn't give any of my teams. Jeez, can I go back to the East?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Philadelphia, Dallas, and the Giants over 50%.
All right.
And the Giants.
Yep. Washington lower than 50%.
Okay.
In the NFC South, I've got Tampa Bay lower. I've got Carolina lower. And I've got the New Orleans Saints over 50%, baby. They got a quarterback. I pegged them to win the division. The New Orleans Saints over 50%. What about you? Oh!
Taking them down. Carolina.
Thumbs down.
Carolina every year. Every year.
He fooled me.
I'm going Carolina.
If they had Steve Wilkes, I'd say that. But because they changed their coach, I gave it to New Orleans.
True, but he's gotten the most out of every quarterback he's ever been
True,
around.
that's true.
Yeah.
I'll go over on the Saints. I like them to win the division as well.
You love the Saints anyway, so I know that.
Okay.
It's a good one because I should choose the Saints.
I think I know where you're going on this one. The Atlanta Falcons. Falcons.
Saw an article.
Good team.
Saw an article today. Team. Arthur Smith was interviewing Pete Skoronski from Northwestern, and you know what he told Pete Skoronski? And I looked to see if it was real. It was real. He told him during the interview that he was his answers were boring.
He says, "You're boring me."
He told him he was boring him.
That's crazy.
Told him he was boring him.
Who took Skoronski? I forgot.
Tennessee Titans. I love anyway. Arthur Smith.
They gave him Taylor Lewan's number.
I love the Falcons, but I'm gonna go. How many people I got in right now? 1, 2.
Not many.
3.
You've got 1, 2.
Oh, I'm good.
3.
I'm good. No,
yeah,
I'm good. I'm good. No, Falcons do not get in.
Lower.
Yeah, they're not getting in.
Lower.
But they will bang on the door, though.
They will.
All right. NFC West. Are you
got them out too?
Well. No, I got them out.
Okay.
Yeah. NFC West. The San Francisco 49ers, Bray.
Yeah, they'll be a 3 seed. They will be in.
Mazawey over I2 full sweep. We'll go full sweep there. Right. The Seattle Seahawks above 50%. Maz, better than 50% chance. Here's a yes. You are a head nod yes.
Hawks are making it.
We are all in agreement on the NFC West. I too have put a yes. What about the Matthew Stafford-led Los Angeles Rams for now? Did you see they're trying to trade him? Did you see that? Yeah, still.
I think the Rams may shock people and do something special. I am going to go low.
I go low too.
Can you imagine if Stafford goes to Green Bay?
When they go low, we go high.
I'm
Tom Mazawey, low.
Rams. Rams are the Lambs.
Low.
That would be interesting. Green Bay and the Rams do a little switch.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. I mean,
that would be appointment TV. Maybe that's why they have 6 primetime games.
Ooh, Ooh, maybe they know something we don't.
Correct.
Conspiracy theories.
Last team in the West, the Arizona Football Cardinals.
Poor guys.
They could argue finish.
I don't even need to ask.
The number 1 pick next year.
They could win 2 games.
All right, gang. Let's go to the North.
Here we go.
Let's go to the North, eh? The Chicago Bears.
I think they're gonna surprise people a lot, and I really want to have the stones.
You ain't got the stones to say hi. You ain't got the stones to flip that thumb up. No way!
Chicago Bears.
BS.
Chicago
Bears. You just did that on purpose.
Chicago Bears.
Tom Mazawey.
No way in Hades.
No way.
Chicago
they
Bears.
suck. They suck.
What sucks about them?
They suck.
Rebuilt their whole team. You don't know how they're going to be.
Right now, their receiving core is better than ours.
Nah.
The Green
We got
Bay,
the better St. Brown.
I got a thumbs down. Yeah. Boo. Yeah. Let's do the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, Braylon. Better or lower?
They get Matt Stafford, they'll be better.
Than a 50% shot.
Down.
Lower, thumbs down. Mazawey's thinking about it.
Put him in the playoffs.
Oh, what?
Jordan Love, baby.
Maz says this. I'm a hard no on that. I'm a hard no. Hard no.
Hard being the operative word.
The Minnesota Vikings. Better or 50% shot of making the playoffs?
How many playoff spots do I got left? 1, correct?
Well, you got to just tell me the team, and then we'll figure it out from there. Do you believe they have a better than 50%? You want Minnesota in.
Well, I want the Lions in too.
Well, right. Then we'll go back through all your yeses and see how many you have, and then who we're peeling off.
No, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick with Vikings as a no.
Okay, Vikings.
And I'm sticking with Chicago, and the Lions is yes.
I am going Vikings no. Maz is on an island by itself. I obviously will say yes on the Detroit Lions. You will say yes on the Detroit Lions. Maz says yes on the Detroit Lions. So here we go. We have completed the 50-50s. Ryan, I have Philadelphia, Dallas, New York, Detroit, New Orleans, San Francisco, and Seattle. Nice. 7 playoff teams.
Nicely done.
Okay. Braylon, you have Philadelphia, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Carolina, San Francisco, and Seattle.
There we go.
Nicely
okay.
done.
Maz, you have Philadelphia, Dallas, Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, New Orleans, San Francisco, and Seattle. You have 8 teams. We've got to peel one off. You have to peel off either Minnesota, Green Bay, or Seattle or Dallas. You can keep 3 of the 4. You can keep 3 of the 4.
Take the pack out.
Oh, take the pack out.
Pack.
All right. So there you go.
The thing for me in choosing Chicago, I think every year you get newer teams. I think every year it's 8, 9, 10 new teams in the playoffs. I think that has to factor into it. 2, Chicago's being a scrappy team, man. I think Justin Fields takes a leap this year. I like their offensive weapons right now. Mooney, Rashad Bateman. I think they made some big acquisitions on defense. So I think they're just going to be one of those teams. I mean, and who's to say they can't split with the Detroit Lions? Who's to say they can't beat the Green Bay Packers twice? Who's to say they can't beat the Vikings, split with them? So that's my logic. I think the Vikings are a better team. But every year the Vikings let you down, whether you're a Vikings fan or not. So why
Lucas in the back is with you on Chicago.
I'm telling you, the Bears may have a shot. Every year we're seeing different things. Every year you're seeing whether it was Seattle, whether it was Green Bay towards the end, the Lions last year, whether it was the Giants. You're seeing new stuff every year. Why can't it be the Chicago Bears? Why can't it be?
Here's a bonus 50-50, okay? Here's a bonus 50-50. Take the division as a whole, okay? The division as a whole. Over under playoff teams in the division, 1.5. Over under playoff teams in the NFC North, 1.5. Maz, you already scouted it out. Easy over, you say?
Yeah, easy over.
Really?
Easy over. Because
I'm picking the Vikings. They're a 13-win team.
Okay, so I'm going
because we both at the least have the Vikings and the Lions. Both of them, we have them 10 or more wins. Both of them.
See that? This is where we differ. I think Minnesota's an 8-win football team. 8 wins this year. 8.
I think Chicago and Green Bay are 8 to 9 win football teams that will hover, and that's why you'll get that one team that is going to steal it this year, and I think it's going to be the Bears.
And basically all I have to do is get the Giants to get 9. 9 win. I think Philadelphia double-digit team, Dallas double-digit win team. And the Giants and Seattle, all they have to do, one of those two, those two teams have to get to 9, but I don't see Minnesota, Green Bay, or Chicago winning more than 8 games. That's where we differ. I think the division sucks.
It does, and I think the Giants suck. I mean, I think last year, if you take away quarterbacks missing games towards the end, I think the Giants are in a different situation. You look at who missed games last year. Dak Prescott missed games that he played against when the Cowboys played against the Giants. Look at the Eagles at the end of the year with Jalen Hurts' shoulder, missed games against the Giants. So I'm thinking if those quarterbacks never get injured, Giants are in the playoffs last year. I don't trust Daniel Jones, so he's going to have to go through that gauntlet that is the NFC East.
All right, guys, we'll go around the NFL too. Coming up, some college news as well. Keon Coleman is on the move. The wide receiver in the portal at Michigan State.
Is he going back to East Lansing?
He is not going back to East Lansing. We'll tell you where he's going, but first a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people means one thing: you're protected by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots. He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
I never want to wish the summer away, but I just think
even got here yet.
I know, but this NFL season is going to be so fun. I cannot. Anytime I talk NFL, I just get so excited.
Not to cut you off, what I'm starting to realize is I just think it gets funner every year. Yeah. I think there's a new nuanced attitude. I think for the Lions fans this year, it's how good the Lions can be the draft next year. Because last year we were having legitimately the same discussion when we were talking about the AFC West and how it was going to be to have those quarterbacks, where the NFL is at in terms of the quarterbacks play. Every time we were talking to personnel, whether it was Gus Johnson or whether it was a couple other ones, shout out to Tony, what's going on? We were always asking that question, is this the best the NFL has ever been? Is this the most talented? And the question is yes, and it's only going to get better and better and better. So it's getting funner and funner.
We'll talk to Tony Paul from the Detroit News coming up in about 8 minutes from now. Excited to talk to him about the Detroit Tigers. What do we make of this baseball team? And, of course, we'll mix in a little Michigan State. But, Tom Mazawey, let's go around the NFL, if you would.
Let's start with one of our favorite guys, Dan Orlovsky. He put out a tweet today of a 3-tier quarterbacks in the NFL, and we'll break it down like he did. Quarterbacks you win with. Go ahead,
There
Ryan.
you go. Quarterbacks you win because of, quarterbacks you win a lot with, and a big season of answering questions ahead, Tom Mazawey. Where do you find the great Jared Goff?
Jared Goff,
the Hall of Famer.
He's in the middle. Quarterbacks you'll win a lot with. He has got Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones, Jimmy G, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, and Geno Smith.
Christian Kirk.
Geno Smith.
That's your guy, man.
There you go, man. That's Jared Goff is in there. You'll win a lot with him. That's what Dan O says.
Yeah.
You agree with that? You agree with that portion of his quarterbacks?
I actually kind of do.
Bray, you got a paper I gave you too.
No, I know, but still from the stand of, for me, there's only 2 people I would move. I would move 2 people to 2 different spots. Would that be okay, Ryan?
I know who you're moving already.
Okay, here you go.
Well, if you follow the chat, you'll have Goff in his own section.
Oh yeah.
It'll be Goff at the top, and it'll be like the all-seeing eye. That would be Jared Goff.
Yeah.
No,
be above Mahomes.
The only one and it's gonna piss a lot of people off is Herbert. Herbert for right now, like it
won't piss me off. I don't disagree with you.
He's had a lot. Like I think he has to answer some questions this year. Now we understand that his offensive coordinators have not been the best, and we understand that his coach Brandon Staley puts him in a bunch of terrible positions. He had 5,000 yards this year, 5,000 yards that year. I understand that, but I see too many games in the fourth quarter where it doesn't seem like he knows how to win a game. It doesn't seem like he knows how to go out there and seal the deal, whether it was in the playoffs this year against Trevor Lawrence, whether it's Monday Night Football, whether it's primetime games. He's beat Patrick Mahomes one time. Outside of that, I see him tend to lose a lot in the fourth. So I think he has questions to answer. And where's Tua?
Quarterbacks you win a lot with.
Tua's a guy that you win a lot because of. Like you look at obviously, you look at last year when they had him. They won 75% of their games. His efficiency, where he puts the ball, throws guys open. He knows how to make the right play. He's zenned in. Even before he had Tyreek Hill, and before on the other side of that was Waddle. He won 8 of the last 9 games with a bum squad.
He's never won a playoff game, has he?
As of right now, he's won he's never won a playoff game. But I see him win a lot of games in there because of what he does. But I'm fine with where he is. I just want him to get the credit he's due.
I'd take Herbert out, and everybody else I'd leave the rest. Because if you look, that's an elite group of quarterbacks.
I agree.
Taking Herbert out.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously the knock is going to be, oh, well, Herbert 5,000, this and that and the third. I'm telling you, I watch these games just like you watch them. I got to see him finish down the line. I got to see him finish down the stretch. You can't tell me if you're on that sideline and Trevor Lawrence throws 3 interceptions, and then you're on that sideline when Trevor Lawrence comes back and you watch him beat you. I can't. That's not good enough for me.
I would move Matthew Stafford up to the middle section. I think he put him there so nobody would bust his chops because, let's face it, he is probably...
I think there's a lot of questions about him.
He's probably the biggest Matthew Stafford fan on television.
He is.
All right, but I don't think there's questions about him. The only question is...
health, team.
Well, but he's healthy. He sat out half a year last year. He is back.
I'm not going to argue with you.
He is a terrific quarterback. He won a Super Bowl. Could have won a lot more. But I would put him in the middle section. And I'm surprised you guys... Not me. I'm surprised you guys haven't moved Kirk Cousins down there. I would probably move Mac Jones down to that bottom section.
But you do win with Kirk. Kirk got you in the playoffs last year. Kirk got you in the playoffs the year before that. Kirk got you in the playoffs 2 years before that. Kirk got you in the playoffs. He played for the Washington Commanders. He'll get you to the playoffs. Last year we saw he'll win you 13 games, but he ain't going to win in the playoffs. So he's in the right spot. You can win with him. You just can't win no playoff games with him.
We'll see. That's got to change eventually.
Don't be mad at me. Be mad at Kirk Cousins.
I'm not mad at you.
2-10 on Monday Night Football.
All right. Anyway, he's good at 1 o'clock.
You know what else is good at Monday Night Football? Aaron Rodgers hasn't lost in a decade.
Really?
Monday Night Football.
Wow.
And he's got the first one of the year.
Wow.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Another team that's looking for a quarterback could be
Detroit?
No, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are in the Ryan Tannehill sweepstakes.
We told them back in January they needed a quarterback. Ryan was clamoring for, or you and Ryan were clamoring for Lamar Jackson to go to Atlanta.
I know, but now they want Tannehill.
Last year they went into Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. This year they make no move at quarterback. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they need Ryan Tannehill.
They got Desmond Ridder. I guess they're giving him a chance.
God, give me a break.
Look, I think that Ryan Tannehill could
be a bridge.
Well, Ryan Tannehill could put the Atlanta Falcons in the conversation for a division championship. I mean, that division is probably second weakest in football, only behind the AFC South.
Yeah.
Are the New Orleans Saints with Derek Carr the clear favorite in that division?
I pick Carolina.
Yeah, where do you see Carolina? How does Atlanta fit in? Because they have a nice team, just no quarterback. So could you have a steady veteran quarterback who's not going to kill you with mistakes, kind of guide you through?
I see this as nothing but a positive for them in terms of him over Desmond Ridder. You put Ryan Tannehill in there. You got freaking Bijan Robinson, your guy. You got Drake London in there. You have Kyle Pitts. So he'll know how to run that offense, and you can hand the ball off to Bijan, so it'll help. I just simply say, for a team that was all in on the Deshaun sweepstakes a year ago to this year, not being in on Lamar sweepstakes, not talking about any one of the 5 quarterbacks that were drafted 4 in the first round, to not be on any of that, and then all of a sudden, maybe they know something I don't, but that's where I give them grief, is they weren't on that. But this definitely is a good move because you got Bijan Robinson. He's a guy that's going to make it easier.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. We got Tony Paul in the house, sports writer of Detroit News. We're going to talk Tigers with Tony Paul. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Randy Wise.
Yes, sir. What could be better than watching celebrities like Braylon and D-Mac play some golf? Playing golf yourself, of course, and being treated like a celebrity, that's better. Stop at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak after compliments of Fairway Packing. Make the wise decision. Get to Randy Wise today for your chance to win.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan, Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got JB. We got Flannel in the house. We also got this guy, sports writer for the Detroit News. Tony Paul is in the house. And Tony, baby. How you doing, man? Now, you guys play, Braylon plays a lot of golf in the summer now, Tony. Now, I understand you guys have played golf together.
We did. We played last summer. He probably doesn't like to talk about it, but we played last summer.
Did he beat you?
We actually were on a team.
We were on a team, but he shot way more good shots than I did that day. Didn't play my best, and then the last 2 holes, we shot a little 2-on-2.
Yeah, me and Neil Rule against Nick and you, right?
Yeah, Nick and me, and we lost.
Yeah, it was me and Neil, the short hitters, against the 2 bombers.
It was like a
par 5. We're laying up at the par 5 there on area 313, and we were just laying up just plodding it down the fairway, and they were in the water and all, and we ended up making birdie and got a little 10 spot from Braylon.
Little 10 spot.
But hang on the wall.
You gotta have him sign it today.
But you know what? You gotta pay, man. You gotta pay. You gotta admit, man. I lost that day, but you know what? There will be other days, and hopefully we can get out there.
There will be. He signed it, and we have it still.
That's fantastic stuff. Hey, Tony, I'm glad you're here because I have been so intrigued with this Detroit Tigers baseball team. Hell of a tough schedule in the month of April, but here we are, 41 games in. 3 games under 500, 3 games out of first place. Pretty damn good. What do you make of these guys?
Isn't it funny that 10 years ago, this was the best team in baseball? Well, I think it was the best team in baseball 10 years ago. And here we are today, and celebrating that they're 3 games under 500.
The bar is low.
It is a low bar. But I said coming into this season, it was not going to be a great season. But if they could keep your attention, right? If they could make things interesting, at least keep the fans engaged, because they're bordering the last few years on losing a generation of fans. And they needed to at least keep them engaged with Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. We needed to see something out of them. They had slow starts, but you're starting to see what they're capable of at the plate. The pitching, especially the bullpen, there's been some guys emerge there. A couple starters. I've been intrigued by Joey Wentz. So there's some guys that you can start to finally see them fitting in to the future. And you hadn't had that for several years. So, yeah, I mean, what's their ceiling? I think, look, they're 3 games under 500. It's been exciting that they're at least in the mix or being talked about. And, people are watching because they're not terrible right now. But the margin for error is still very, very small with this team. When they went on their run a little bit, they had a couple runs. They were winning the 1-run games. One thing goes wrong in any of those games, and the record could be 10 games under 5. This margin for error is still small. They're a key injury or two away from things being a disaster. But as long as they can hold on, stay healthy, and you're going to start to see some other guys. You've already started to see Ibanez come up, see what he can do offensively. You're going to start to see other guys from the minors come up as the summer progresses. At least they're interesting.
Yes.
Because for the last, honestly, I can't tell you, I used to be a watch 140 games a year guy with this team. I can't tell you that I watched,
10.
30. Maybe I cover them a little bit, so I can't tell you I watched 30 games last year.
Yeah.
I've probably already watched 30 games this year. Because at least they keep you engaged.
Yeah, Tony, one of the big things that Ryan's always talking about is the competitiveness, man. Just keep it competitive.
Right.
Win a couple of those games. Hey, for every series you lose, maybe win one of those series. Take it to the end, close games out, and they have been doing that this year. Talk about Scott Harris a little bit for me. Scott Harris, when he came in, he kind of called out Javi Baez a little bit in his head. He kind of exactly. He called out in terms of bad pitches, the pitches they're swinging at, and also he called the pitches. Talk about how that has kind of helped where they are right now.
No, that's true, and it was funny being at that introductory press conference with Scott Harris. I've been at a lot of press conferences introducing the new guy, and I've never been more enthralled by someone. It was like he was a professor giving this amazing lecture all about the strike zone and how it affects how they're going to build out from the strike zone with pitching and defense and hitting, and it was all going to start with the strike zone. I was really fascinated, and then when we pulled him aside afterward, that's exactly what we asked. Okay, that's a great dissertation about the strike zone. So how does that fit with your shortstop who's got 5 more years left here, who's not that kind of guy? But clearly they've sent a message. He's come in. He didn't tear this thing down. He didn't get rid of everybody. He took more of a wait-and-see approach. But, even with Baez, he's going to be a wild swinger. But you've seen him be much more selective.
Much better this year.
I think he went 5 games in a row a couple weeks ago without striking out for the first time in his entire major league career. So you're seeing him be more selective, and as a result of that, you're seeing him make harder contact and be more of an impact player. I also think the incident in Toronto, some people like to downplay this, but I think when you're a manager and you use that opportunity you're not benching Nick Maton, you're not benching Matt Vierling, you're taking your star shortstop out of the game because A, he didn't run out of the box, and B, he forgot how many outs there were. I think that sent a message throughout this clubhouse and throughout this entire organization that we don't care who you are, you're at least going to play the game the right way. Whether it's coincidence or not, he's been better since that moment, and the Tigers have been way better.
I want to take that. I want to take that moment too and give Javi Baez a little credit here because we have beaten this guy up for over a year. What he chose to do with that moment, I don't think you can underscore how important it was to him and this baseball team.
That is not talked about enough, and I brought this up to a couple friends afterward. That could have gone 2 ways. He got taken out of the game early, okay? As a former professional athlete, that when things go bad, it's really easy. They build in a little 15-minute buffer before the press gets allowed into the locker room so you can get the hell out of there if you want to. Yeah. He didn't do that. That was the last game of the series. Javi could have been on the team playing already and avoided that altogether. He could have, gone that way with it. But what did he do? He stayed the entire game, and he knew the press was going to be there, and he stood up there, and he said, I screwed up. And what AJ did was the right thing to do. And I don't think everybody in his position, star-wise, financial-wise, I don't think everybody in his position would do that. In fact, I've seen professional athletes duck the media when times get tough like that. And he stood up there and took responsibility, and I think he won over some fans by doing that.
That's a huge thing, kind of like with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They talk about Bill Belichick would go after everybody. It didn't matter who you were. He would go after you. I'm not necessarily he'll bench Tom Brady, but he would go after everybody, and I think that's what you're seeing there, him going after him. Other guys are like, shoot, I got to get myself together.
The interesting thing is the day before, I think it was it Vierling or Maton, and then Haas had a base running mistake. They both had mistakes. Yeah. He didn't choose that moment. I almost think like he saw the opportunity with Javi saying, I have to make a statement here with this guy. He's the highest paid guy. He's the leader supposedly of this team, biggest name on this team. If I don't do something here, then what's the rest of the team going to think? And I think he used that moment because Hobby went back out in the field for the next half inning, and then AJ, I think he had time to contemplate it and said, I need to do something here. And look, sometimes this gets overblown. I've talked to some people that cover the Tigers who think, it's overblown, but the bottom line is he's playing better, the team's playing better, and I think it sends a message that nobody's above the team.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, I've been watching the team just like you guys. I love baseball. Try to go to as many games as possible. Try to watch them as much as possible. I usually switch in the channel, watch an MLB Network or the package, but when I go to Comerica, I'm impressed with this team, and I've been telling these guys, you got to get down there. I call them the ragtag Tigers, but they're almost lovable. I like Matt Vierling. Riley Green, you could see he's got a lot of talent, man, and it's starting to show. And on the arms race, you got Eduardo Rodriguez, who was pitching as good as anybody until yesterday. And I like Michael Lorenzen. I mean, and like you said, Joey Wentz is showing. But I think he made the right move. He emptied the bullpen a little, but they rebuilt it up to it's very successful. They keep you in the game. But he got rid of Soto and others, and he brought in some everyday players. And that's what you need. And they might need to do that. Again, I wanted to ask you about Eduardo Rodriguez. Does he stay or do you send him?
Well, that's an interesting thing. And now, just to your first point, they have a lot of guys you can root for. I mean, even Akil Baddoo, coming back and having an impact like he has after the rough year he had last year.
Hope he's wearing a cup nowadays.
Ouch. Vierling and Maton, they're a scrap heap in Philly. And, you bring him over here. Eduardo Rodriguez, with the stuff he went through last year, being away from the team with the family issues, come back and pitch the way he has. With Rodriguez, they got a dilemma. There are three options here. Either the Tigers trade him, they keep him, or they extend him and keep him. And that's the best option, because if they trade him, he's obviously got value, but he's also got the opt-out. So all of a sudden, that trade value goes down because the team that's going to acquire him is not going to unload everything for a guy that could leave them in 3 months. You keep him, and then he opts out anyway, and then you get nothing for him. If you can find a way to extend him during the season before the deadline, then you could do either option.
Correct.
Then you can trade him and get more for him, or you can keep him and build around him for the future. It's not that usual for baseball teams to do this kind of negotiating in season, but with him, I think it's if he's up for it, it's the only option they have.
They need more players, everyday players. You brought Vierling and Maton in here, and they could become good players eventually. Hell, each one of them hit a game-winning home run. I was at the Maton game.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They're not bad players. I know Maton gets a bad rap. Who was the other day they said you can't hit? Oh, what manager was it? They hit him, and you walked.
Yeah, you got walked and then he got hit by a pitch.
Exactly.
Yeah. He did the Roger Dorn, worked his way out with a hit by a pitch.
He took one for the team.
Tony, let me go back to the Eduardo Rodriguez, because he's probably the guy on the team that's got the most value.
Right.
But we go back to what we said at the top. How do you? I know they need more players, but they have kept my interest, man. How do you tell these fans who have had no baseball for the better part of a decade, oh, yeah, now we're pretty good, let's get rid of our best pitcher?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. And that's the thing.
That's tough.
You have to hope that the fans can be real with you,
right.
And that they can understand reality. If the Tigers go into the trade deadline, a week before the trade deadline, and they're 5 games under 500, but it's a terrible division, and so maybe you're 5 games out. The reality is, it's not your year. And if you can go ahead and get those chips for Eduardo Rodriguez, but the fact that you're even talking about the fans are, the fact they're even talking about keeping him to be a linchpin for the future tells you that this team might be close. They might be there. So it's tough. If you're close to first place, I mean, it's tough to tell your fans. But other teams have done it. You just have to be real with them and say, look, we need more and we can get more for them. You just hope the fans understand. And I think Tiger fans are smart baseball fans. Yes, they're running out of patience, and rightfully so. But I think if they're 5 games under at the deadline and 5 games out of first, I think they would understand.
The Yankees could use him.
There you go. There's a lot of teams that could use it.
Yeah.
Hey, can we
no more starts like last one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No.
Can we sit tight here? 60 seconds and be right back with Tony Paul talking Tigers, talking baseball. We got to mix in a Michigan State question somewhere in here too. We don't have to. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. They've got grab-and-go steaks you can order online as well. They ship anywhere. FairwayPacking.com. FairwayPacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Perfection.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com here with Detroit News sports writer Tony Paul. Great to have
over there, man.
Huh?
Get it together.
Detroit Sports. That's an old radio station we were on. Detroit Sports 1.
The good old days.
I just had one question. We were talking about all the players of this ragtag team, as Tom Mazawey likes to call them. Talking about the players, talking about them being 3 games out of 500. Talk about the guy, the coach that's coaching these guys, third year in, A.J. Hinch. Is this the type of team that can consider him be here long term, if that means anything? I never thought he was a long term guy. I thought this was kind of like a stopover, but it seems like it may be a long term deal.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe a stopover too. I thought that he might be the guy that the White Sox hired after they let go of La Russa. He could maybe get out of his contract. He'd go to a better situation. But I think that time might have passed. I think he's kind of bought in.
I know I botched the questions. Sorry.
And the Sox stink.
He's bought into Scott Harris. I mean, those two didn't really know each other before Harris was hired, and apparently just became instant, constant texting buddies. He's bought into Harris's philosophy. He's also got a really good coaching staff too, starting with Chris Federer. I don't think he gets talked about enough. The former Michigan pitching coach, who's done just amazing work with these pitchers. A lot of them you've never heard of. The bullpen was great last year. They got rid of their best relievers, and the bullpen's great again this year. They've bought in. So I think AJ's really bought into this town, and I think he knows. He's been told what this town can be like when you have a winner, and I think he's intrigued by that.
Good. So, I'm glad. He's a damn good manager.
Just where do you see this thing going? And how long, if you had to put your finger on the pulse today, how long before the Tigers are competing for a Central Division championship?
Next year.
Next year.
Well, I mean, they're 3 games out of first place right now, and I don't think this is I think you're seeing some guys that are part of the future with Green and Torkelson, Andy Ibanez, maybe. Jake Rogers. I mean, some of the pitchers. You're seeing some guys that are finally. You could see them being part of the solution. And remember, then you lose Miguel Cabrera's contract, and all of a sudden you've got some money to spend. Scott Harris didn't come in here and blow everything up. And I think that's a smart thing to do. If you're a new CEO of a company, I think you lose a lot of respect and a lot of credibility when you come in and on day one go, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. You want to assess things. You want it to be methodical about it. So he wasn't going to go break the bank last offseason, but I think they're going to spend some money. I think they could do very well in trades, maybe with Eduardo Rodriguez if that works out. Who knows? Baez is in a similar situation. If he heats up again, he might be a guy. But I think that they're closer, and they're also in like the Lions, they're in a bad division. And so it's there for the taking.
I got just a two-parter for you, Tone. The first is Miguel Cabrera. He should have quit. And I know he had money coming, but they should have done something last year. Talk to him. Look, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars out of this. And I hate seeing him go out like this. It's the absolute opposite of the way Albert Pujols went out. They each took care of themselves differently.
He juiced.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah, he might have got away with that.
I'm joking.
But I'm just saying, I hate seeing it. And when he's out of the lineup, I think they're better. It just makes me sad. And part B to that is, what do you think of the baseball game in general now that it's sped up and all the new rules?
Was there a question in the first one?
It is sad. With Miguel, it is sad. This is what I feared would happen, because we all remember 2008 to 2013, 14 with Miguel. I mean, every night was just special. He was the best player in baseball. He won the MVPs. He won the Triple Crown. He could do anything. I mean, it was just magical. It seemingly every night he did something, and I did not want to see this happen, but kind of expected this because he's just been a shell of himself. His body broke down. It was a bad contract that Mike Ilitch gave Miguel Cabrera. He did it because Max Scherzer turned them down, and Mike Ilitch wanted to send a statement that we have money and we're going to pay our guys. And we knew it was going to be bad on the back end. We didn't know it was going to be this bad for this long. I mean, he's a barely replacement level player for 6 seasons, and it's rough. That said, you know, I mean, yeah, the Tigers could have gone to him, but I think the Tigers looked at it like, look, we're not going to be the team next year, so we don't need to force this guy out. He can go out on his own. And Miguel, I mean, I don't know. I've ever turned down $32 million, and that would be hard to do. And so I get it. If they get into contention, legit contention, I don't think it's going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen in 2006 either. If they get into legit contention in June and July, a couple games out, they're going to have some hard decisions to make, and that's what I feared, that they would have to make a hard decision. And you know, it's like Willie Mays went out, you know, a shell of himself, and it's sad. Albert Pujols, by the way, was a shell of himself for a few seasons before last season, so people forget that.
Right. Shoot, the first part of the season last year, he was a shell.
So people forget that. He was in better shape. He did keep his body up better. As far as the second part of your question, I'm an old school baseball guy, and I hated the idea of the pitch clock.
Until you loved it.
I never knew that I needed the pitch clock in my life. It's great. Now, it makes the broadcast a little bit more awkward, which I watch a lot of games on TV. I listen to a lot of games on the radio. It makes the broadcast a little bit more awkward because they're caught trying to talk, and then all of a sudden there's another pitch coming. I don't like that so much, but as far as cutting down the BS, and oh, my God, it's been great. And as a reporter, selfishly, we get out of the ballpark a half hour early.
Right, no doubt.
Now, when I have a question, I've asked the Tigers about this. In July and August, they got Friday night fireworks. They have 6:40 starts. If the game's over by 9 o'clock, when are the fireworks going to go? It's going to get dark at 10 o'clock. I asked one person with the Tigers that, and they just kind of, the blood drained out of their face. Like, we never thought about that. But I love it. I think it's great, and I think you just have more people engaged to play a doubleheader with the break in 5 hours. That's incredible. Great. That was a wonderful day.
Tony, you got about 60 seconds left, so I don't want to hit you with a Michigan State football question, but I do want to let the people know Keon Coleman, wide receiver, has chose to go to Florida State, so that's where he is committed. Florida State gets the player today. And look, I guess, is there any worry about Mel Tucker? Yes or no?
Or yeah. I mean, how can there not be? I mean, you've got you know, you're coming off some tough times. Haven't looked great on the field. You lose your starting quarterback. You lose Keon Coleman. There's a lot of worry going into this season, and you know, I think he's got potential to be a good coach, but I don't think that being a great coach is necessarily on his resume, right? I think that's fair.
Right.
I mean, and so he's got to prove it. And so, yeah, I think there's a little bit of worry.
Hey, while you're here, hit us with your charity golf outing.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
This Saturday, that's why I'm here, to get some autographs. This Saturday.
You didn't want to come hang out with me?
No, I had Anderson, Maz, and Ryan, of course. That's why I'm here. By the way, I got the primo parking spot out front for the first time. That's awesome. So that was good.
You should get a haircut while you're here.
I know, just got one a little bit ago. But, no, this weekend's our third annual charity golf outing for suicide prevention and awareness. It's going to be out at Links to Novi. We're going to have another great day, great crowd. My cousin took his own life 8 years ago now. And so we've been doing this the last 3 years, raising money for suicide prevention and awareness, and hoping to have another great year. Fingers crossed for the weather.
Absolutely. If you or you know somebody in trouble, text or call 988. That is the suicide prevention line. 988. There is help out there 24/7. Please use that number. Absolutely. Thanks for doing that, Tony. I think that's fantastic stuff. Bray, you got any last words?
I'm good. You let me know. You
gotta get that 10 spot back.
Where was the invite to your outing? You're getting signatures for it. Where was the invite to that?
We can't afford to have all the celebrities. We got a budget.
I typically don't get paid for those things. I'll get paid
next year. We'll get you a stipend.
I'm ready. I'll be there.
Close us out here, big guy.
Good to be back, man. Good to have Tony Paul talk about Tigers. Gave me some optimism going into the rest of the season and next year. Yo, the gang's all here, man. So next week is gonna be great. But don't forget, we got Friday tomorrow. We'll talk about the Lakers and Nuggets for my man Flannel Sam. For JB on the booth, Uncle Matt, CT Paul next to me, my brother from another mother, Ryan and Monty. We are out of here.
You know what time it is. Do I just go? I'm not going to drop.
Go.
All right. Go ahead.
2, 1.
Oh, my God.
Go.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my. Oh. This isn't right. I don't get paid enough for this.